I'm Charles Dennis, and this is Paid to Dream, and at long last I have caught up with Rose Abdoo, one of the funniest women in the world.
Oh,
Rose.
Thank you. Hello.
Oh, thank you. You were meant to be an early guest on this show, but things took a strange turn for you.
Yes.
I remember the day you were supposed to come in, you said, I have to go to the doctor. and this began a long odyssey for you.
Yes, what I thought was going to be a simple appendectomy.
Wow.
Turned into a whole ordeal. A 7-month ordeal.
But you've kept your sense of humor about the whole thing.
I've tried to.
You
All
have
I have to say to anyone listening is if you have a tiny minor stomachache that you think you want to ignore, don't.
Yeah.
Don't ignore it.
Do not ignore. I walked into the William Morris voiceover reception area about 2 years ago, and my friend Ron Auerbach said, "Come and meet Rose." And my life has never been the same, Rose. I mean,
and we were instantly in love.
It's true. Despite your husband, I got past that obstacle and managed to work with you 3 times since then on 2 of my projects. And then one of the things I also enjoyed was that you and I and Kevin Dunn and Ronnie did a reading of Laughter on the 23rd Floor.
That was wonderful. And I had forgotten how funny that play really was, because I hadn't done it since, I think, 1994, and then we just did it not that long ago.
And that's when the great god Ron Auerbach came to Chicago to not only act in it, didn't he direct it as well?
He didn't. In the version I did, he was Matt Prince, and he was just incredible.
Yeah. Well, I interviewed him on the show already and mentioned that when I saw it in New York originally, and he was playing Ira, and Nathan Lane was playing Max, I said, no, this is wrong. Why? It's got to be the other way around.
That's right. He's the larger-than-life Max Prince, and I have to say, one of the best experiences is to share the stage with an actor that just has the audience in the palm of their hand. I mean, it was really something to behold, and no other Max could compare to him as far as I was concerned.
No. He's the Max of Maxes.
That's right. And
And
you are the Charles of Charleses.
Well, thank you, sweetheart.
And we also have the Sagittarian connection in common.
Major. It's just.
And may I say, one of the more entertaining social events of my life was your Chinese New Year's party.
The Chinese New. I know we didn't have one this year, and we've had letters, emails, protests. So it will be on, and you will be there, and
well,
we'll
what
have
I
the
loved was my in-laws had just returned from Shanghai and brought me a silk jacket, and when I arrived, you and I were wearing the same thing.
Wow. Just 1 second, please.
All right.
I'm doing a recording. Hi there.
Hello.
That was your hostess from the Chinese New Year party.
Oh, very nice.
Who wasn't aware that we're doing it. This is what I love about this show. It's like doing it from the garage. Except
anything can happen.
Anything can happen. People come in and out of here, and it's just great. And then you and Ron got to play in my play. Tolstoy Was Never There, and my daughter Ethne was your daughter, and you guys were just great.
That was so much fun, and I thought you had the good sense to put us together for another project of yours, The Bunnymooners.
The Bunnymooners,
really
the Bunnymooners, which is the Cramdens except as rabbits.
I did a humorous reading competition when I was in 5th grade. I was young, and the feedback was, you sound an awful lot like Alice Cramden. Well, of course, I'd always watched The Honeymooners with my dad, and I thought, well, I sound like Alice Cramden. Now what am I going to do with it? And so I'm thrilled whenever anybody has a great idea, like I think The Bunnymooners was, to put the Alice Cramden impersonation to good use. Because
when I heard you in the booth when we were doing the Tolstoy, and I went, my God, she sounds like Audrey Meadows.
I have no idea what you might be talking about, Charles. You're not going down to that sewer tomorrow morning, Ralph. There isn't a manhole in New York you could fit through.
But what was it in 5th grade? I mean, that's
Not sure. I think I was trying to imitate. I had the album of You're a Good Man, Charlie Brown, and I thought the girl who played Lucy sounded like I think in the Broadway recording sounded like that, and I was trying to do her like Charlie Brown, and it ended up just sounding like Alice Cramden.
And
so I was in You're a Good Man, Charlie Brown, and my Lucy ended up sounding like Alice Cramden.
Well, that's who she is, anyhow. I think so. I have a question. This is a scientific question.
Sure.
Is there a female Michigan comedy gene?
Oh. You know, there must be.
Because there's Gilda Radner,
That's
there's
right,
Lily Tomlin, and there's Rose Abdoo.
Well, I'd certainly love to be in their company. But I had a college professor say, find the people that you admire and do what they did. And I thought, what? That's so simple, that advice. And then it turned out to work for me because I was in Michigan, and I wanted to do comedy, and I thought, well, who do I admire? Gilda Radner. Well, where did she start? Second City, Chicago. And that's what made me move to Chicago. That and the fact that I didn't know how to drive. I need a city with good transportation. But sure enough, I went to Chicago, and I auditioned for Second City, and at the time, they told me they auditioned 250 women, and they only had 2 slots available that season for the touring company, and it was myself and Amy Sedaris were the 2 people they chose.
Wow.
So I ended up touring for 2 years, and then I was on stage for 2 years, and then I stayed in Chicago for 15 years, and then I finally came to L.A.
But before that was Michigan State University.
That's right. Michigan State University. I did 25 shows with the Performing Arts Company there. And it was a great experience, I have to say.
And was there not a prof who said, Rose, I'm worried about you. Perhaps you should study improvisation. Why did he say that?
Well, I was in class, and I seemed to want to go off the script. Like, we would be doing scene study, and there would be, we'd be doing a Tennessee Williams scene or whatever, and I always wanted to add my own lines that I thought would go nicely in the scene. So I think my theater teacher thought, well, improvisation is where this girl what she should be doing. I love being in a play, though, and I don't take liberties with a good playwright. But it was just scene study, so I thought we were kind of fooling around, Right. I think I liked that better. Even when I used to work at a radio station in Southfield before I went to college, and I wanted to go off the UPI page. I just wanted to go off the page. So I think that was a good fit for me with improv because it really is, who thinks the fastest on their feet and can make up stuff quickly.
It's strange, because I've written 11 novels and God knows how many books. Well, actually 11 published novels. I'm waiting to hear about this new book from a publishing house in Chicago, actually.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, but I still don't trust myself with improv. Interesting. As I'm an actor and I'm a guy who writes and writes and writes, and God knows, as I say, how many plays. But I don't know. I just haven't had that much opportunity.
I think you maybe haven't had the right stage partner for that.
Ah, Rose.
See, it's all about making.
That sounds like a lead-in for a song. Ah, Rose.
It's about making your partner look good. Second City was the best training ground for. I think there's a different way that people improvise that were trained when I was in the era that I was in Second City, where it's all about making your partner look good and not asking questions and just heightening and exploring and yes-anding and I watch the kids nowadays, Charles, and I don't think they've got it. I don't think they improvise the same way.
That's interesting.
Yeah, there's a lot of, if you create a world and you create something there seems to be a trend towards the partner negating it, and then the scene goes nowhere. But I mean, there's a lot of really great people to watch do it. When it's done right, it's just it's thrilling to watch, really.
Now, Mr. Joseph Liss was with you there.
I love him.
I know. I was interviewing Tom Kenny, SpongeBob himself, and he said, I believe, to paraphrase, that Joe Liss is the funniest man in the world.
He really is.
And I did a play with him this year. I knew nothing about Joe Liss, and he came in to replace somebody. And I was warned by Ron West. He said, "This is the funniest man." And he was so polite and self-effacing, and apologized for not being on book, etc. And then we got out there, and I realized I'm fighting for my life.
That's right. He's incredible. We used to do a scene called Polatino Today, and he was Jerzy Brzezinski, and I was Maria de Los Angeles Pons Montes Garcia Brzezinski, and he was Polish-American, I was Latin-American, and together we were Polatino. And we had, everything was like a piñata, but stuffed with sour cream and potatoes. Everything was half Spanish, half Polish. And we realized how many things the cultures, the music could be similar, and we would play high-a-lie, but with bowling balls.
Well, he told me when we were going to do the interview originally a couple of months ago, he said, ask her about our town.
Oh, my God.
Mrs. Webb and the Props.
That's right. We did a production of Our Town, a fractured fairy tale, if you will. The Heliotrope Players present Our Town. And the Gibbs, I think, had props, and the Webbs did not have props. One family improvised the props, and one family had real props. But we did the entire version of Our Town where I was Mrs. Webb and I asked Emily to please get plastic surgery, and it was just like an updated. Emily, you'd be so pretty if you. And I remember taking Scotch tape and taping her nose up, and it was really a very interesting show that people who had never read Our Town, which I didn't think there was anyone left that hadn't read it, but would even enjoy it. I would like to see that again. I wish that existed on videotape, and maybe it does.
Are any of your Second City performances on tape?
You know, there were videotapes of them. They're archived somewhere. I haven't ever investigated how to get a hold of them, though.
Well, when my friend Avery Shriver died, I went to his memorial that they had at the, I think it was at the Improv.
He was wonderful.
Well, I mean, you know, everyone goes on and on about how brilliant John Belushi was as a samurai, but Avery created the samurai.
That's right.
So many of the things that you know, Avery was the original Second City, Vendabuddy, all the things that he came up with. He was just a total genius, and sorely missed. But what about Natalie Cole lip syncing with her father's urn?
Somebody, I don't know who wrote that. I think our stage manager Rob Bronstein came up with that. And the lights would come up on one side of the stage, and I would sing lip sync to "Unforgettable." That's what you are. And when Natalie Cole they put their voices together, she and Nat King Cole, and then the lights would come up on the other side of the stage, and there was just this big blue and white ginger jar of ashes.
Oh,
it was just so dark and horrible, but the audience loved it. But that's how we started the show. And then Joe Liss, I think, was Derek Blakemore, the director of the Heliotrope Players. So we pretended we were a troupe within a troupe putting on this show. It was ridiculous and so much fun.
Well, you give new meaning to ethnic diversity, I have to say. I mean, we can pass you off as anything. I mean,
that makes me happy.
You know,
I have been mistaken for Greek, Italian, Jewish, and I'm really my mother is born in Dominican Republic, and my father's father was born in Lebanon, so I am a Dominican Lebanese girl who has a Jewish attitude.
And yeah, I'm sure there's a joke there that we haven't worked out.
I know.
But 2 hours later, you're still hungry for something.
That's right.
So tell me about the Abdoo family growing up. Was there anybody else like you?
You know, my mother, she get her comedy from Mama. Because I think funny. One time my Dominican mother said, you know something, I love the movies of Woody Allen. Because I think like Woody Allen, but I don't have the words in English to express myself. But when I watch him, I think, oh, that is me. Which I found very surprising that my mother would find herself like Woody Allen. You know, your father's side of the family was not funny. They are very boring.
There are no Lebanese stand-ups.
No. She did not find them to be humor,
humorfuls.
Humorful. But my mother's side of the family is really funny. And they're, like, a little ridiculous. My father, I thought, was very funny in the accidental way of, we were the first people on the street. My father sounded a little like George Burns. And we were the first people on the block to get a phone. First guy came over for a party, put his hat on the phone. He didn't know what it was.
Yeah.
Guy came over, put his hat on top of the first hat. Pretty soon, there were hats up to the ceiling. And then the phone rang. That was my dad.
Wow.
Yeah. He was really, just so calm all the time. I said to my producer, I have a show and a live stage show, and my producer was asking me the difference in my mother and father. I said, there's two types of people in my family. My father's side is, what are you going to do? Whenever anything bad happens, it's, what are you going to do? And my mother's side is, what are we going to do? So that's the difference.
You and Hank Azaria should do those Central American people.
I think he's incredibly talented. He came to improvise with us at Second City because there was a show called Herman's Head, and he was in it with Ken Campbell, who was in my cast of the show we were doing at Second City called We Made a Mesopotamia, Now You Clean It Up. And I remember Hank visited and did a scene, and we decided to do a gender-bending scene where I dressed as a man in a leather jacket, and we put Hank in a blue sparkly gown and a long wig, and we had a prison dance, and we were a couple. That's all I remember about the scene. And he signed the backstage wall, and Rose made me do it in the bathroom. That's all I remember.
Did any of the Wayback Machine, here we go again, did any of the earlier grads of Second City ever turn up and just decide to get up there again? I mean, did Alan Arkin never suddenly said, hey, I got to do this again?
I don't remember him coming when I was there, but the people that were right before us used to come back and do the set, so that was always fun. Like Bonnie Hunt would come back, and who else? there was always people. Robin Williams actually got up and did a set. I don't believe he ever worked at Second City, but
you can't stop him.
You can't stop him. But what was really fun was this December, 2 Decembers ago, was the 50th anniversary. And being back there for that, first of all, Second City just rolled out the red carpet for us, and they had, I think I did your radio play the night before I was leaving for that.
That's right. You went for that's right. That's right. We had to get you out of there.
That's right, the big anniversary. And they chartered a plane. There has never been a more enjoyable flight from Los Angeles to Chicago than being on a plane with 400 Second City alumni. I mean, I felt like we got there in 20 minutes. So many laughs and so many bits that were airplane bits that were recreated on the plane. But when I was there and realized how many people came through there, I mean, just to watch the SCTV reunion live on stage was incredible. To see, you know, Andrea Martin and Catherine O'Hara, and it was really something to behold.
Oh, did somebody tape that? I hope.
Oh yeah. That all
good.
Taped, yeah, and I think they made a documentary of it.
Now, you did the female odd couple with Barbara Eden.
I did, and that was a dream come true for me because I was a huge I Dream of Jeannie fan. And if you told 7-year-old Rose Abdoo, one day you'll be on stage with Barbara Eden, and I was Vera, so I think I was Vinny, like the male counterpart to my, if you know the play really well, that I was Vinny, and I would have to bring her a drink on stage every night, and she'd go, "Thank you, Vera," with those giant genie eyes. And
so was she the Felix or Oscar character?
She was the Felix, and Rita McKenzie played Oscar. And she is popular, very popular for doing the Ethel Merman on Broadway.
And this is where, in Chicago?
In Chicago at the Apollo Theater. It was really, really a great time. Barbara Eden is the sweetest woman, just the sweetest woman. She's Jeannie. She's incredible. Yeah.
But I'm that much older than you, and nobody remembers this. There was a syndicated half-hour How to Marry a Millionaire.
Oh.
With Barbara Eden and I forget who the other, Laurie Martin. It was, I was in love with her then.
Ah.
As a kid, she's just great,
So cute.
So when you finally got out here, did you have an agent when you arrived, or did you have to pound the pavement?
Well, I did. I was with Getty's in Chicago, and so they have a sister agency. They're actually sisters. One sister runs the agency in Chicago.
That's
and one
funny.
Sister was out here, so I had representation, which was great. And then I came here. And right away, I think I came November 8th, and November 30th was my audition for the Gilmore Girls, and I got it. So I thought it was just going to be a one-episode thing. I was the auto mechanic Gypsy.
Gypsy, yeah.
It turned into 26 episodes, so that was very fortuitous.
Very.
Yeah, it was only 1 month after I got here.
And then, of course, my daughter knows you from what's the kids' show that you wrote?
The Disney Channel, That's So Raven?
That's So Raven.
That's So Raven.
Señorita Rodriguez.
That's so funny. And I think that was in December. I got that audition, and I thought, this is my mother. Señorita Rodriguez is my mother. So I just went in and did the, "Raven, you have something between your teeth." And I played it exactly like my mother, and then that turned into, I think, a 10 episode.
Well, that's why I brought up Hank Azaria, because that wonderful Amadei, whatever his name was, in Birdcage, that was his grandmother.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
He had this his booby, his where is he from? I don't know if he's from the Dominican Republic or not, but somewhere in Central America. And that's what he did. He just channeled her.
Terrific.
It's always,
I had a great time doing that show, and the kids, they repeat that show. That was really one of the first. I mean, Hannah Montana was certainly a big hit, or Lizzie McGuire, I think, at the time. But the Disney Channel was so wonderful because they repeat the episode so many times that it makes it seem like you're working all the time, because they just show them. They would show them back to back. And then I ended up doing an episode of The Wizards of Waverly Place and Good Luck Charlie. And I still, if I go to certain shopping malls, those are the things I get recognized from more than anything, is the Disney Channel stuff.
And then George Clooney came into your life.
Oh, George Clooney. That audition was just one line, and I just had to say, Don, they're making the footage 5 minutes extra, whatever it was. It was a line about it for an editor. And it was just on tape. I just went in the room and did it on tape for the casting director. And the tape went, how you do those things, and you put them on tape and you don't think about it again. And then my agent called and said, "You're going to be in Good Night and Good Luck." And I didn't know what the project was because I never knew the title of the thing I was auditioning for when I did the role. And so it didn't all come together till that first day at CBS Radford. We had a meeting. I think we met for about a week before we started shooting the movie. And I realized I'm in this great movie with all these incredible people. Jeff Daniels was in it and Robert Downey Jr. And it was just really an incredible experience. George Clooney is so funny. He's so much fun to be around, I must say.
And U.S. Marshals.
Oh, you've done your research.
I do my work.
Yes, U.S. Marshals was a movie that shot out of Chicago, a sequel. Was it a sequel to The Fugitive? I don't know.
Yeah, exactly, sure, because it was Tommy Lee Jones playing the, Gerard again, yeah.
And I was the coffee. I just remember auditioning for it, and my character didn't have a name. And I was worried that people would wait for the credits and see Starbucks lady. Who is that? No, that's what it was. I played the Starbucks lady, but they put me in the credits as Donna. So I thought, well, people aren't going to know that Donna was the Starbucks lady. So I remember asking the director if I could answer the phone in the Starbucks. This is Donna. I think he let me do it. I don't remember, but I just remember asking that and thinking that was my equivalent of Lucy Ricardo having to play the dead body and writing Lucy on one shoe and Ricardo on the other so people would know who she was.
Oh, you've done your homework, too, for years. I loved you on Curb Your Enthusiasm, by the way, when you were the interior decorator.
Thank you. That's another one of those, I just played my mother characters. Larry, you don't want to do earth tones. That's boring. And then I said, you don't want to paint the bedroom yellow. It would be like waking up in a mustard jar. But I think they cut some of that stuff out. He was really fun to make laugh, and I have to say he giggled a couple of times.
Well, I suspect, because he's not a trained actor.
He laughed a couple of times.
I can see when sometimes I can see he's still plotting. They don't know, they can't. They said, all right, we'll just cut around him or something because
he's hilarious. He's a lot of fun to be around too. That was a really fun. That's really trusting because in the process because Jeff Garlin is a very dear friend and I think it's really fun to improvise with, and he came up to me at the craft service table. He goes, don't let Larry see me talking to you. He said, we're just going to not tell you anything. He doesn't really like anyone to engage the actors to talk too much before the cameras are rolling.
Yeah.
It's like, don't waste anything that might come out. And all he said to me was, I have Diane Keaton's phone number. I had Diane Keaton's phone number. I don't have it anymore. You have it. You won't give it to me. Go. And that's all he said before that scene.
It's so funny.
There's nothing written down on that, and I really liked how it turned out. I have to say, thank you for saying that. I would love to work on that show again. That show really, I think people are either completely delighted by it or it annoys them.
I love it. I love it
too.
I think you should send Jeff a note, for heaven's sake. There's no reason why that woman.
Well, I saw Larry. I actually went to the Larry Crown premiere with that Tom Hanks, Julia Roberts movie, and I saw him out front in front of Grauman's Chinese, kind of looking at the footprints, and I said, Larry, this has been years. Larry, did you remember me? And he remembered me right away, and he remembered my real name, which I thought, he's done so many episodes since then, so I was very touched. And I said, if you ever need another decorator, because isn't his character's moving in the show, I think.
He's always moving. He's never in the same house from season to season.
Come on,
exactly.
He needs another decorator. Jeff was a fan of, he said, remember in the old days in The Honeymooners or in I Love Lucy, the character actors would return as different people. And
yes.
Jeff's a fan of that. Larry was not a fan of that. He said once you establish yourself as one person, they have to come back and play that same. Because I would love to come back and play somebody else. But he was afraid that I was too established as the decorator.
I know this happened to me with Star Trek. They said, no, you have to wait a year or two. They said, well, it was 10 years. But I was buried under makeup. I said, for God's sake.
Of course.
So then I come back and I'm playing the same character but with a different name.
Oh, that's
and I said,
funny.
Imaginative casting that they have. And what
about
Bad Teacher?
Oh, Bad Teacher. I did my best friend's wedding in, I don't remember. In the
97.
And that's another one where I played my mother. My mother said to me recently, you know something, if you don't have me, you really don't have any characters. Because you repeat Mama all the time. So I was with Cameron Diaz. And then when I got Bad Teacher, she also remembered. She goes, weren't we in a scene together? I said, yeah, where I had to pin Julia Roberts into a dress But Bad Teacher was a lot of fun. They did cut one of my scenes, but I'm very grateful that I'm not on the cutting room floor completely because you know how that goes when you're playing.
Well, the great thing now with DVDs is they always put on deleted scenes.
Yeah, that's really fun. Although I was in the 40-Year-Old Virgin, and that scene was much longer. We sing Happy Birthday or in the Benihana, and then it's not on the DVD. But I think that movie is just I worked with Steve Carell at Second City in one of those casts, and I just think he's terrific, and it was really fun to get to be in that. And so the same people that worked on that, I believe, got me the audition for Bad Teacher.
Oh, that's great. And didn't you do a series with Conan O'Brien, a short-lived something or other?
Well, we did a show when the writer's strike in 1988. The Saturday Night Live writers were in Chicago in the summer doing a show called Happy, Happy, Good Show. And I think they originally cast Jill Talley, and then she got to work for Second City, so they came to me, and I understudied her. And we ended up bringing the show here to the Beverly Hills Playhouse, and we did a bunch of really interesting scenes, and Conan was so much fun. He did a scene called The Kennedy Baby, where just imagine Conan O'Brien in a bonnet and a diaper, and he was the baby Kennedy. And I don't remember anything else about the scene because there really isn't anything else you need to know other than Conan O'Brien in a diaper is hilarious. And we did a run of that live stage show called Happy, Happy, Good Show, and it was Bob Odenkirk, Rob Smigel, myself, and Conan O'Brien, among other very talented people. And Rob Smigel is a really, really funny guy to work with. And, of course, he's gone on to be super incredible writer and producer and Triumph the Insult Comic Dog.
And you're also in that crazy movie Unconditional Love.
Yes, that was interesting. I was really looking forward to that and working with Kathy Bates, but there was such limited interaction with her. And that's another one that got cut down. And I don't think anyone ever saw that movie.
No, well...
But
anybody out there, anybody know how we can see it? Just let us know.
Yeah, I saw it once on Starz. That was P.J. Hogan, directed My Best Friend's Wedding, Unconditional Love, and then he actually cast me in a pilot called Nurses. He's a really great director to work with, too. I've really been so lucky. I have that same college professor that told me, just find the people that you admire and try and do what they did, said you'll be lucky in your career, in your entire career, if you have two directors that you really think are terrific. And I have to say I'm very blessed because I really have loved so many of the directors that I've worked with, present company included, of course.
Thank you, my darling. Well, I could go on, but let's go out on a high note here. I mean, it's been a delight talking to you. I'm sorry we had to wait all these months to do it, but I think everyone will finally get the chance to enjoy the joy that I have with you, Rose Abdoo.
Thank you. I'm so flattered that you wanted me as one of your guests, and I had a medical thing get in the way, but I'm on the mend now.
Atta girl.
Yep.
We love you, Rose.
Thank you so much, Charles.
Speak to you soon.
I look forward to talking to you soon.
Bye-bye.